Hello, welcome back to part 27 of this video tutorial how to build a Pacman game in XNA. Please don't forget to buy the content. Send €2.95 to PayPal account XNAPacman 2013 at hotmail.com. We send the content in 24 hours to your email address. In this tutorial we're gonna build the save collision map function, and we're gonna do that in the update method of the game class from our MapBuilder tool. And we're gonna do that just after the save screen. So we're gonna say here save the collision map to disk. And the first thing we're gonna do here is if the game state is equals to game state.collision, and we need to know if the keyboard's S key is pressed. So if utils check keyboards, and we're gonna pass the current keyboard state and the previous keyboard state, and the keys is the S key. So if we are in the collision mode and the S key is pressed, then we're going to create a new collision file. Create a new collision file. So the first thing we're going to do is create a string for the file name, and the file name is called the collision.txt. So it's a text file, and now we're gonna create the file. So file create, and we're gonna pass in our file name, and we're gonna dispose, so it's automatic released when the file is done. Alright, just like this. And now we're gonna open the file for writing the barriers to the file. So we're gonna say using, and we're gonna use a stream writer. So stream writer is new stream writer, and we're gonna pass in our file name, and the first thing we're gonna do is mark the header as a barrier. So the first 3 rows, which we're gonna use for drawing our scorer and high scorer, we're gonna mark it as a barrier. Okay, so mark the header as barrier. So we're going to use a for loop. So for x int x is 0, x smaller is than 28, x plus plus. Alright. And we need another for loop. So for int I is 0, I smaller is than 3, I plus plus. Alright. And now we're going to say here stream writer write line, and we're going to start with 2 spaces plus x to string plus 1 space plus I to string. Alright. And now we're gonna search in the tile list for marker tiles as map barrier. So search in the tile list for marked tiles as map barrier. Right? And we're going to use a for each loop here. So for each tile t in tile list, and now if it's a map barrier, write it to the collision file. Right? I'm going to say here that if t selected is equals to 0, then the map position is equals to the utils world to map, and we're going to pass in a new vector too. And we're going to say here the t position dot x minus 160 and the t position dot I. And now we have converted the world to map. We're gonna build the string s, and it's equals to 2 spaces plus the map position dot x to string plus 1 spaces plus the map position dot I to string. Right? And now we have built a string. We're gonna use the stream writer write line, and we're gonna write the string s to the file. Alright? And the last thing we're gonna do here is mark the footer as a barrier. Right? The last 2 rows we're gonna use for the showing the lives and the fruit bonus, and we're gonna mark this as barrier. So for int x is 0, x smaller is than 28, x plus plus, right? Mark the footer as barrier. So, and we're gonna use another for loop. So for int I is 34, I smaller is than 36, I plus plus. And now we're gonna say the same as we have saying here at the header. So we're gonna copy that and we're gonna paste it here. Right? And that's the collision, save collision function for the collision map. So we're gonna say here save collision map. Alright. And now when you run the MapBuilder tool and we press the F2 key, we're gonna switch to the collision map mode. And on the right side, as you can see, we have now a red and a green tile, and we're gonna use the red tiles when we marked the barriers, and we're gonna use the green one to mark the places where we can walk. Alright? And that's what we're gonna do in our next tutorial when we create the collision map. So I hope you enjoy, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.